everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in to this very special episode of Rockn Talkn. This is a one-on-one episode with my very good friend Jonathan Price, his sister Kill Cycle, and so much more. We're going to hear about all his other projects. I want to thank you so much for supporting me, guys, and you, Jonathan, as a whole. Jay Stone and Rock Metal Talk, of course. RFL Records with John Machuca. Thanks so much for your support. I just want to give a special thank you to Roy Stedman of Fire Driver Records and Sister Kill Cycle. You are the other half to my projects here and all my events, and your never-ending patience and support is completely appreciated, always and forever. I'd really be unable to do any of my events or my shows without your help and support. So just wanted to say thank you so much, and I love you for it. So it's a combined effort between everybody to get these out to you, and I really hope you as a listener enjoy all our hard work. Thank you so much. I just want to also thank so much to Lips, my incredible co-host with Rockn Talkn in our group interviews. So I hope everybody enjoys the interview. You spread, share, like, just grab your joint, grab your beer, grab your coffee, whatever it is you do. Just sit down and enjoy a great show, everybody. Thanks so much. Like I said, we're going to get right to that interview right now. Hello, everybody. We're waiting for Jonathan Price to join us, and here he is. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Rockn Talkn solo interview. Thanks so much, Jonathan. Here we go. Hey, how are you?
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, we did it first time this time.
I know. Getting better at this. Is this
I was waiting for it.
Day business attire?
Yeah, pretty much. So today I'm doing phone sales calls today. So yeah.
I didn't think this was your regular rock and roll look, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, as soon as I get off the meeting with you, going right back at it again. So.
Oh, that's too bad. The other day you sent me a message from the beach, and it was so cold here. I'm obviously wearing a winter hat inside. It's so cold. I was so mad at you the bit. I won't lie.
Oh no, it's getting pretty cold here too. We had a pretty big downpour last night. It rained. I think it's like 58 degrees, which isn't too terribly cold to most, but I like from the adjustment of how Cali weather is, and then like last week it was like 70 some degrees. So like I'm on the verge of probably gonna be sick soon, so we'll figure it out.
Oh, I'm trying to feel sorry for you. I really am, but you know. But how are things going otherwise? I'm trying.
Oh no, you're good. And yeah, things have been actually going pretty well. Yesterday, in the await of the debut release for the music video, I wanted to at least give like my fans content and everything like that, and officially just to get content out there. This project's been almost 2 years in the making. It's taken a lot trying to build everything myself, and then with my group and everything that I've got back home, and kind of spread out too. I've got one member that's here in California. Two members that are down in Indiana, and then I've got Rhodey that I think he's living in Oklahoma now. So we've got like a little small kind of like family work of networking and communication with the band. So it's just it's been a process, but it's coming along and finally reaching that grindstone of getting everything ready to get launched. So things are going good.
That's awesome. Wow, that is like spread apart though. That must make things really difficult.
To a degree, but at the current point in time, like I like to travel, and I've been able to be blessed and have the privilege with other bands not worrying about like with Motivator, I was living in Indiana at the time, and me being there didn't affect me being in the band because I made the dedication to go out and make sure I made it for the tours and the shows and the gigs, and everybody in my band's done the exact same thing. So even though it's remote at the time, and especially with the COVID thing and everything that's kind of kept everything on lockdown, everybody's definitely put in their work and everything, and I couldn't ask for a better group of guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. When was the last time you guys actually were together and were able to play in the same room?
It was during the music video shoot. So back in November, we had scheduled the music video. I had my former guitar player Rocky. He came in from Florida along with the videographer, and then me and Dustin, who's the other guitar player, came in from California, and then we had the bass player and the drummer that were from Indiana. So we all just kind of centraled in on Indiana, just because that's originally where I'm from. And if I wanted to launch something for my own personal project, I want to kind of give that homage back to Indiana, and with connections that we had and everything like that, it would just made it easier, honestly.
Wow, wow. And when do you think is the next time you'll be able to get together and play?
Right now it's just kind of up in the air right now. Just with everything that's been going on. But we do want to plan out another music video, so you'll start to see more content just kind of rolling, right after another here very soon. So the main thing is, getting ready to get this music video launched from when we shot it, and then, like I said, we just released the debut single, which will be that actual song for the music video. And then we're probably going to do a lyric video in the in between time before the next music video that we do, which will also be introducing the new guitar player, which will be Joe Hayes, which is my producer as well.
Oh, wow.
So he will be getting introduced into the fold visually and on the music video, and then which we'll move further into once we can get out and play live again.
And what would you say inspired this video, this song? What was the
Yeah, so Sideshow is just kind of more of my personal take on the music industry, because I remember when I was like 14 years old and I was looking in Metal Edge magazine or Circus or Revolver, I can't remember which one it was exactly, and I saw like a picture of like Marilyn Manson live next to a picture of Slipknot live, and I just like pointed my finger and I was like, I want to do that,
Yeah.
and so you see like all these the visual fabrications of it, and I guess mainly what I mean by the fabrications is like you don't see the back end, the trial and errors, the processes, and even the dark
Hmm.
side of things. And
Hmm.
mainly Sideshow was showing the dichotomy of the dark side of being and going after your dream. I think what was his name? It's slipping my head right now. Daughtry. He actually, like, I'm not a big Daughtry fan, but he has the song "Home," and there's a lyrical part in there where he states, "Be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it all."
Hmm.
And I think
Hmm.
that's a very, very valid statement when it comes to like being an abandoned in the music industry, because you can actually sit here and go after something and have a dream. And then, once you actually get into it, or if you, get the notoriety to start building something from it, then you start kind of seeing the back end of things. You deal with, people, there's, Paul Stanley said it best from Kiss, there's just enough people out there in the world, in the industry, that are willing to take your money as much as you are willing to make money.
Hmm.
So you kind of deal with those people and kind of finding who you can trust and things like that. And then the industry too kind of makes it kind of self-centered to you and what you want to do. So you go out and you tour. Like when I was in Motograder, we were touring 8 months out of the year. So I mean, I've watched members come and go, and I watched like people's family sides start falling apart because they're on the road so much and everything like that. And you don't really put these things into perspective, because
Hmm.
for you, you're achieving your dream, but
Hmm.
in a sense you're getting taken away from so much more. So
Hmm.
in like the
Hmm.
lyrical content with Sideshow, there's a part where I think it's during the pre-chorus where I was saying everything you dream will only bring you to your knees. So there's a lot of people that pay so much into trying to achieve that dream, spend so much time and effort on the
Hmm.
road, and they kind of like let their stability become expendable in a sense on the
Yeah.
side. So,
Yeah.
it's whatever happens when I get back home happens. But right now I'm on the road, I'm doing my thing. And, you kind of have to keep a 50-50 balance in your life. And it's a hard thing to do. And I know throughout my time in the music industry, especially, I've had to learn those lessons, the hard way in the past. I'd have places that I'd, taking rent, for example, and like renting a house or renting an apartment or something like that, and you're on the road so much. So it's like, oh, well, screw that. I'm going to go out and tour. I'm going to go out and do this. And then you come back home and then, you don't have a place, or you're couch hopping and things like that. So there's a lot of parts
Mhm.
in trying to get into the music industry, and if it's something that you really want to do, you definitely want to make sure that you have some type of stability or some type of
Or
substance
just
on the back
know that
end.
it's gonna take everything you absolutely have in order to achieve anything, and you still might
Yeah,
not. You still
yeah,
might not.
it will.
And just be thankful for maybe just sitting on a street corner and having a crowd come up and listen. I don't
Mhm.
know if where you're from, if they have street performers or not.
Oh yeah, I remember I met some of the coolest people
Yeah,
touring, and they were street performers. I remember
yeah,
I was in Denver, Colorado, coming back from a tour, and I was stuck. And I took a Greyhound because I was like terrified of flying at the time. So
yeah.
I
I
took a
know. I was there
Greyhound.
too. I've gotten over it a little bit.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And when I got to Denver, I was stuck in Denver for like 6 days due to like weather or snow or something. And so, I went, did my tourist thing around downtown Denver, and there was a street performer. And I swear, like, I play percussion for Motivator, but this dude would have stopped me. I would have lost my job if
yeah,
Nuke would have been
yeah, yeah.
there. But he was so
Toronto,
good.
Toronto, actually, you have to apply to be a street performer, and then they put
Mhm.
you on the busiest street corners in the best subway locations or every subway, right? And
Hmm.
they really support that as an art form, and I really wish every
That's
city
awesome.
would kind of do that,
Yeah,
because there's nothing like just walking in every few blocks. There's something genius happening on the street, right? And
exactly.
I think how cool that would be if you just, as a social experiment, just to see how people responded to you, right? Have you ever done
Right.
anything like that?
There was one time going back to the Denver thing, when I was kind of doing my tourist thing for those 6 days. I went up to Red Rocks. Now, Red Rocks from downtown Denver is like, I think it's like 19 miles or something like that. So I had
Yeah,
to take
yeah, I've been
Uber out
there
there.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah, Red Rocks is amazing. And so when I
Hmm.
went down into the actual pavilion that's up at the top of the base of the hill, I looked over the edge, like coming over the stairs, and there's like 30 people on tapani drums, and people are dancing and stuff. It was like the coolest thing ever. So like I went down there, and everybody's playing like this, pretty much the same rhythm, and they were like, there was one open space next to this guy, and he was like, "Hey, hop in." And so I sat down and played like this Tapani drum rhythm with 30 other people I've never met, with like children, and even people that were like elderly in their
Awesome.
like 70s, just dancing around carefree, and having a great time. And I think it's those moments in touring that I love the most. And I know I kind of bore my friends that hit me up and be like, "Oh, what's the craziest thing that you've done on tour?" and everything like that. And that's not really what I went for on touring. Like, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
traveling, I love sightseeing, and being on tour, you're only in a city for like a few hours at a time, and you might not even get those few hours to go out and do anything. So when you do,
Yeah,
or get a day off, it's
that's gonna
it's
suck.
really fun to
Yeah.
go out and do.
I think it's healthy. And I people talk about this about touring too, but I think it's healthy to have a few days off to at least check out those
Mm.
epic cities that you may never get to come back to again. Because you know
Oh
what,
yeah.
like honestly, we just never know when it's all over or when it will all start. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it might not even be COVID related that kills your career for whatever reason. It just, might be the last time. And I think working artists to death like slaves, day after day
Mm-hmm.
after day, and just running to the
Mm-hmm.
next show, you're not going to get the 100% perfection of performance out of the artist if they're drained halfway through the tour.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. I remember the first tour I did with Motivator was probably the biggest tour run that I've ever done as a musician personally, because we were literally on tour for I think 3 months straight, and we
Yes,
had
mental.
47 shows before we had a day off.
Oh my
And when I
God.
looked at the routing, I was like, going into it, I was like, yeah, let's do it. I got this. No, you don't understand like your physical exertion period break and the stamina that it takes to be able to do that. So when it became like day 20, it went from gig neck to I think rubber neck, to where it looks like you're like a newborn baby and your head's just kind of moving around and you can't even hold it up straight and stuff. So yeah, it takes the wind out of your sails for a while, and especially
Mm,
like the preparation. I mean, if you look at even like Ozzy Osbourne or all the bigger acts that are out there that were touring, like obviously pre-COVID, but all those acts that were touring, they were taking like 3 weeks to a month, and they were having like personal workout coaches and things like that to
Mm,
be able to take on the task at hand. So
mm.
yeah, it's definitely a preparation other than just being like, okay, I got my gear packed up, I got all my stage makeup, my stage clothes, I'm ready to go. No, like you need to be hitting the gym, you need to be, working on that stamina and
Yeah,
be
or
able
just
to.
taking a day off to walk through the city or go to a museum or go to another show or just do something that's relaxing. Fuck, sleep for a few days, that sort of thing. And
Oh
you're
yeah.
gonna get a better performance out of people, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
the same with any major industry. Like I was a tattoo artist before this, right? And it
Nice.
was just work them to death, 7 days a
Oh
week,
yeah.
14, 16 hours a day, right? Until they either break or, quit. And I'm sure it's very similar. It's really hard to keep, relationships, family,
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine the dedication that it takes now. Um, but I know everybody's itching to just go out and do it. They're like, we don't care. We
Oh
just
yeah.
need to do this. Yeah, yeah.
And much respect on the tattoo. And back when I was 18, my main thing is I wanted to work in a tattoo shop. So I went and I became a piercer. Now, from
Mm,
tattooing to piercing, it's very hard to make money as a piercer.
mm,
And,
mm.
yeah, so and there, I can tell you there was multiple days where I would be in the shop because it's kind of like paying booth rent and sitting and hoping somebody comes in, unless you have an established client base. So starting out after my 8-month apprenticeship, I really didn't have a client base. I had some friends and everything that I could call and be like, hey, I'll hook you up, come on out to the shop or whatever. But there'd be numerous days where I'd just be sitting there and I'd be there all day,
All
and
day.
not one person would come in for a piercing.
You need to, and this is the thing, it's a medical thing, but as a piercer, to be good, what you want to do is specialize in extreme piercings and then go move near the
Hmm.
gay district of town, right? You're going to
Yeah.
be piercing genitals all fucking day long. You know what I mean? But
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. I've had my
right?
my fair share.
And for what? $10 a piercing? Like, ugh.
Oh gosh, I know, right? Yeah, it's definitely like where I was in it for maybe like 3 or 4 years at that the shop I was at was New Breed Tattoo, and I was in Bloomington, Indiana, and I was there for about 3 years and stuff. But I was like, so I'm sitting here watching like these tattoo artists I was working with, and they're making bank or whatever, and it's like
150, $200 an hour. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just like, man, like I can draw, but like there's a whole different art form to tattooing and
Mm-hmm.
everything, and being
Mm-hmm.
able to actually, because you're holding something that's consistently vibrating in your hand, and there is no room for error, and
There's
you have
no.
to learn how to cover up that error to still make it look good, or else you made a really shitty tattoo. Someone's not going to pay you, and they're going to talk shit about you and your shop. So
Yeah.
there's a lot riding on the line when you do that.
It does, and I'm sure it's just like every performance, you know what I mean? It's so much pressure to be
Mm-hmm.
perfection, right? That it
Oh
either
yeah.
breaks or makes you as a person. And I've seen it break a lot of people in both industries. But piercing,
Mm-hmm.
like, have you done the extreme stuff, the suspension stuff or horns
I,
or subdermals?
suspension, no. Well, because when I was doing it, the like dermal implants and things like that weren't really popular. Now
Mm.
there was one piercing that I did. I'll never forget this. This guy was a trooper. He did this piercing for a magazine or for a photo shoot or something. But this guy came in straight faced and all, and he was talking to the guy that was a tattoo artist, but he was there at the front desk, and he was like, hey, I'm looking to get a piercing. And he's like, hey, I got your guys right over there. Let me go grab him. And so I come up, and this guy straight faced. I laughed because I thought he was joking. He's like, I want to get a piercing from the top of my tongue through the bottom of my jaw. And I was like, no, seriously, what are you looking for? And he was like, no, I'm gonna do a photo shoot, and I want to get that piercing done. So me and my boss sat for like literally almost 45 minutes looking up like if this was to fuck up, will this cause permanent damage, and all
Did
like
you do
literally
it?
research. Yes. We had to use like like the extremely long, almost like for an industrial piercing in the ear.
Mm-mm.
We had to use a flex needle to where I could literally, because he had to put spacers in his mouth. He sat in a chair. I almost wanted to have like one of those like
Oh, you
electric
should have.
chairs so I could hold his like head still, but he barely shed a tear. Like this guy barely flinched. This guy took it like a champ.
That's
I was
freaky, isn't it?
so freaking nervous, and my boss is right over my shoulder and everything. And because of the procedure that had to be done and how like there's like literally this much giveaway,
Yeah.
in like literally the veins and stuff in your jaw to where you can permanently hurt somebody. And so we had to charge him almost $250 to do this, and he
That's
paid it right
it?
out. Yeah. Well, for that at the
Think
time.
about it though. Think about what
No,
you're doing.
well,
Wow.
here's the thing. This was shortly after my apprenticeship, and there was no other piercer in the shop. Now there were tattoo artists that were also piercers too, but everybody else was busy.
That's not
And
fair to make
I
you
know
do both.
my boss was like, I know you can do this. You got this. Just I'm gonna guide you through it. I'm gonna walk you through it, and we'll do it step by step. This guy's just gonna have to suffer through it, and we got it through. We got it. The balls tied in and everything. And I told the guy the whole time, I was like, you're not gonna be able to talk. Your best option would be to go find, the 7-Eleven right down the street, grab a cup of ice, put some ice cubes in your mouth to try and reduce the swelling and everything like that. And guy, paid for. He signed the waiver, paid for it, because we had to type out like a specific waiver for that specific type of procedure and everything. But he literally took it like a champ and was, happy with it. And like, he said, "Thank you," because he couldn't move his tongue.
Yeah, great
And so,
photo, but it would have been like, wow,
oh, I told
commendable.
him, I was like, I'm not doing any more piercings today. That was nerve wracking as hell. I'm gonna sit here in the shop. I'll do cleanup. I'll take out the trash. I'll clean the autoclave machine, whatever you want me to do. But like afterwards, like I was kind of shaky, and I was
I
like, I don't
bet,
trust.
like you're
I don't.
shaking now.
Yeah, I was like, I can't trust myself walking up to somebody and be like, "Here, let me pierce your ear." Hold
Yeah,
still.
I we had somebody come in to do dermals when they first came out, and like somebody was getting a mohawk of them, right? And it
Oh
took
wow.
all fucking day and into the night,
Mhm.
and I was supposed to be after him for my horns, right? And I'm
Uh
just waiting, and
huh.
eventually it just took so long. Everybody wanted to go home, and I didn't get horns, And everybody I tell that to is like, "Oh, I'm so glad." But there's part of me that's like, "No, I'm not glad." Like I really
Right.
wanted that, right? Like,
Oh yeah, and I can only imagine when it first came out, because I know like later on they brought in, and I can't remember if it was during the beginning when they brought this in too, but they had like what's it called, the dermal punch,
I'm
where when
not
people
sure.
would get like the little dermal jewels, like
Oh yeah, yeah,
either of the
yeah.
yeah. No, I'm not for sure if that's the specific process, because like doing it on the head or the scalp
No,
area, I'm not for sure how that would necessarily work.
they were like a little implant under that you could actually screw different attachments into. So
Oh, okay, yeah.
different
So where like
horns
the
is how you
screw would
could.
be the one thing sticking
Yeah,
out, and
yeah,
then you
yeah.
okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Fuck. And those dermals on this kid. Have you ever seen The Young Ones? It's a TV show from Britain.
Uh-uh.
Came out in like the late 80s, early 90s, and the guy had stars. He was a punk just glued to his
Mhm.
forehead, right? Obviously, but he had four of them across. And I was always like, that is so awesome. I want something like that, right? Of course, it took a very long time for it to come into like the mainstream, I guess, right? But yeah,
Oh
they
yeah,
can do
everything
some
like that
crazy
starts out
stuff.
taboo.
Like I just saw a thing because I'm always looking at tattoo freaks where a guy just removed his entire nose to look like a
Oh,
skull.
oh,
And
yeah. I've
it
seen.
does look horrific because I don't know if it's fully healed yet, right? But like,
Oh,
yeah, people go to
I couldn't
extremes.
do it.
I mean, you guys obviously use shock value, assisted kill cycle, and theatrics and makeup and stuff, and go to a pretty good extreme. But um,
Yeah, that's a whole different level of shock value for sure. That's like dedication.
I mean, what's left though?
Yeah, that is true. I know my boss would probably shoot me in the face, and I would lose every single job imaginable going that route. And
Of
that's the thing
course,
too,
right?
is
Of
like,
course, of course.
like there's certain ways of doing something like that. Like if you're gonna go like extreme, like tattooing your face or whatever, because like I have no problems with tattoos, piercings, wherever you want to get it, by all
Oh yeah.
means, you. But definitely, like, because I remember my tattoo artist would even tell customers that would come in, they were like, "I want half my face tattooed or whatever." And then the first question they'd ask them, like, "Okay, well, what type of job do you have?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I work at KFC down the street or something like that." And it's like, man, I don't want to be responsible for screwing up the rest of your life if you want to do something better. And you're literally under 21 years old. So even though
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
get tattooed
yeah,
right
of
now,
course. Yeah.
think about this. You know what I'm
If they
saying?
have nothing left to tattoo, maybe you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right,
You're
exactly.
fully covered, right? Yes. I was childhood friends with Zombie Boy, if you know who that is.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And see,
Okay,
and that's
yeah.
another thing. Like that, the dude built a name for himself. He built notoriety. He became the entity that he wanted to portray to people, which was just really just an
You
elaborated
know
version of
what?
who he was as a person.
We were street kids. I slept in dryers with that guy where he would guard the dryer and I would sleep in the dryer for a while. And then, after turning it on for a few minutes, keeping it warm. It's cold in Canada, right?
Oh
We,
yeah.
we hop trains, we go from city to city. I watched him eat dog food, man, and cry that nobody would give him a job or a place to live. Right? He
Mm,
did that one commercial and then the whole world tells him he's beautiful, which he always was. And I
right.
think it fucked him right up, to be honest. The instant fame,
Yeah, and
instant
that's
fame.
100% true thing too. Because like I said, no matter if you want to tattoo your whole face, you want to look like a skeleton, you want to look like a cheetah, whatever the case may be. I personally don't think that it doesn't take away your self worth as a person. The
No,
intellect, the
no,
knowledge, who you are, and what you can give to any business, any company, even for yourself if you started your own business. Visual perception of people and your customers or your client base or whatever shouldn't be the deciding factor of who you are. You know what I'm
right.
saying? So unfortunately, we live in a society where tattoos and all, like, it was taboo at first, and then it started becoming mainstream and stuff, and then you started seeing like elaborate forms of tattoo work, and like same with Zombie Boy and
Body
everything
mind,
like
yeah.
that, body modification and things like that. Those things, if you look at third world countries and villages and stuff like that, those are signs of beauty. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
tribes over in Africa that the women are scarred with nails because that's a sign that the men are saying that you are beautiful to me. You know, and scarification. So there's multiple cultural traits that are being misrepresented in a society like we
Yes.
have here in the United States, or just in a world outlook of things, to where I think people should be a little more open-minded to people, not what you're seeing, not the visual aspect of oh my God, that's shocking. Yeah, it might be shocking to you because you've never really seen something like that before, but embrace the beauty of that value that that
Exactly.
person has,
Exactly. Yeah.
and get to know that person, get to know a little bit more about them. I guarantee you that dude could have been the greatest, salesman ever in the freaking world, and he is unique as an individual by expressing himself in the way that he did.
So, why did you choose to wear makeup when in most of your stuff that
Mhm.
really changes how you look as a person?
Mhm.
Is there a reason why you guys chose to do that?
Well, for me, I've always been drawn to theatricality.
I love it too. Yeah, it's
So,
awesome.
I've always loved, I remember when I was a kid in school and I would go to like, you know, plays and like performing art stuff and things like that. And there was a place, I think it's still, I don't know if it's still open in current times, but it was called Beef and Board's Dinner Theater in Indianapolis, Indiana. And I used to love going there. I mean, I've seen Phantom
Oh
of the
wow.
Opera
Yeah, yeah,
play
yeah.
there, and just being able to, and this is kind of the same way I love Halloween, is because
Oh
everybody
gosh,
has to
yeah.
follow the certain regulations and guidelines, whether it's their day job or things that they do, and you have to kind of like fall in line to a degree. But there
Mm-hmm.
are certain like times, like on Halloween or like performing on stage, to where you can elaborate on your self-expression.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I've done music, no disrespect to any bands that are up there, just, jeans and t-shirt, whatever, that's perfectly fine. Do your thing. For me, if I've got this one opportunity or this one chance to be like, hey, what do I want to do with myself
Mm-hmm.
visually, to just say, this is me and I'm having the time of my life, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and it comes in multiple forms. In
Yeah.
Motivator, it was tribal paint and Sister Kill Cycle. You've seen the looks that we do in there. When I was in
Mm-hmm.
Exiting the System, we had multiple wardrobe changes that I would do on stage, and even in previous bands that I was in, I always focused on the
I love it.
theatricality, because I don't want you to look at me on the day to day as this representation now, because there's really no difference if I was to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm going to represent music that means something to me, I want to reveal the theme of that
Yeah.
by that presentation.
That's why I think the first band that I fell in love with as a 10-year-old was Alice Cooper. And I
Oh,
still
exactly.
love that theatrical feel that it looks like a
Hmm.
high school production on stage, right? Like
Right, right,
nothing's like a
exactly.
high, but I love it, love it, love it. And I'm also noticing that's a Phantom of the Opera picture in the background, is it not?
Yes. So I also do paintings as well. So
Yes.
yeah, the background that took about, I think, like 6 days
Wow.
of just consistently hitting it. I had to literally do it outside on my deck because at that point in time it was like, I think it was like summer, so it was really hot outside. So I needed sunlight to keep hitting this thing to kind of dry it as much as possible, so I could do the blending and everything like that.
I'm using
Uh,
acrylic and trying, but I am not a painter. You can't just change art forms because you're good at one, you're instantly good at another. You know what I
oh,
mean?
oh no,
Yeah, it's harder than I thought. But Phantom of the Opera is absolutely one of my favorite pieces of music ever written. It's
mm-hmm,
from Toronto. You know, the
yes,
theater there was built for that
mm-hmm,
performance.
100%.
Of course, you know, some of my favorite bands have covered it, like Nightwish, you know.
Yeah,
Um,
Nightwish is a really good band too.
yeah, just the smash of that kind of music with metal is really some of my favorite stuff, to be honest, you know.
Mhm.
But that's really, really cool. That's really beautiful. Would you
Thank
ever
you.
sell it?
Yeah, actually, I think it's actually up for sale right now. I think it's $400 right now, and then I'm also doing prints of it. It's the same size, so the size of it is it's 11 by 14. So like print version of that at 11 by 14 is going on sale for 100, and then the actual
Oh.
original painting itself is 400 and stuff. And
I,
I'm not a highly known painter or anything like that. But mainly it's it's the time, effort, and everything that was put into it. Because with anything, if you put an album out or something like that, or put any
yeah,
type of artwork out, because I mean I've seen people. There's actually a pretty cool website if you ever want to check out to look at really cool like dark art paintings. It's called Macabre Gallery,
yeah.
and there's so many amazing artists on there. And I watched a painting on there that, I mean, if I honestly had the money, I would have bought it myself.
I
It
have.
went for $60,000, sold in literally 25 minutes, not
Okay,
even a half hour.
you have to go to Paul Booth's gallery. You must know who Paul Booth is, right? The
uh,
legendary tattoo artist of New York. He's booked 6,000 people in advance. He's the number one artist.
nice.
Everybody, like, right? So
Hmm.
I hadn't slept for about 6 days and I wanted him to send me something and to help promote me, right? Because I'm
Hmm.
such a fan. You'll love his gallery too. Um, and I found his shop and I made such an ass of myself because I thought it was just a regular shop bitch at the fucking counter, right? And I go, get Booth. I hadn't slept in days.
Nice.
He'll want to hear this. He'll want to talk. Just get him. And she's like, he doesn't talk to customers. And then I'm like, listen, woman. And she goes, I'm no woman. I'm his mama. Right. And then I started crying and I told her my whole story. And then she started crying. And then she went and got Booth. And then they sent me a bunch of stuff. And it was like,
Nice.
it was so awesome. Right. Yeah. So I think and it gave me more confidence to do what I'm doing, to just reach out to people like you, because I mean, it's not easy to just put yourself out there. Do you find it safer if you're wearing music to makeup to put yourself out there?
No, honestly, I can go either way. Who I am is who I am. I put a post out. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Just kind of coming direct to people. Just my success will come in multiple forms. It's kind of like
Mhm.
with myself. So who I am, you'll see in different. You'll see in makeup. You'll see it in a suit. You'll see in that jeans and t-shirt walking down the street. But who I am is who I am, and that doesn't change. I don't take that skin off, you
Yeah,
know. So
exactly.
the look, the attire might change, but who I am as a person will stay the
So
same.
it's not
So
it's not that you want to be famous in some other place and be able to walk down the street, right? And nobody know
nah.
who you are. No, okay.
No, see,
Um,
and the thing is too is like, I guess you say I'm a little more humble on that aspect, because if you recognize me out in public, I'm overly flattered by that, and I
of
will take
course.
all the time in the world to find out who you are, talk to you, or anything like that, because by saying me by name, even if I don't remember you, and I feel bad every time because from touring and going around the country numerous and numerous times, every people kind of blend in, like faces blend in, and names blend in and stuff. So even though that there's a lot of people that I remember, I know your name, I know your face, and then there's some that that support me that if I seen you in public, especially nowadays with everybody wearing a mask, I am not for sure that I would recognize you or you recognize me.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's true.
if that was to be brought up or engaged upon, I take full respect in that, and I will give not only that same time back to you, but that same love and respect to you. So, if it ever came down to where, I was as famous as, the biggest musical, band member on the planet, that still wouldn't change. I remember back when I went to my first Ozfest, I think it was in 2001, and I remember watching all the bands on stage and everything like that. And I always told myself, I was like, if I ever was big enough to get on a stage like that, my immediate first thing that I would do is I would get off stage and I would go out into the crowd, no matter how many people, and just walk around and meet everybody. That's
Yeah,
all I want to do. I want to meet as many people as possible, shake
yeah.
hands with as many people as possible, and just show that there's artists out there that respect you more than just an online platform or just somebody that bought their music or helped support them or whatever. But if you want to sit down and just chat, shoot stuff, watch the next band play or whatever, I want to be that guy. you
Yeah,
know
and it's so amazing. Like Lips said that to me too, because he's kind of just left it like I'll show up for an hour, you do the rest, right? And
right,
then he
right.
gave me, which is fine, and he gave me some names to reach out to, and a few of them were great, really amazing. But a couple of them were like, I don't know, I don't do nothing shows. And he's like, it's just a fucking conversation. It's just a fucking conversation. Like, you know what I
Mm,
mean? Like he was so blown away at some people's attitudes, and I kind of was too, but in the same respect, I am nobody. But it it can really change somebody's life to just have that conversation with them, right? They take that experience away for the rest of their life, and you just kind of go on doing your thing, right? It
But the truth of
means
the
more
matter
than
is that
people think.
it does, and the truth of the matter is like
I know.
you know you have to
That's going really slow. Oh no, we're lagging.
back forward now. You were the one that was reaching out to anybody that you could get your hands on, anybody that you could talk to just to get your name out there. You were
Yeah.
nothing at one point, and you had to use somebody that was credible that could be solicitable for your name or your project or your band to put you in with the people that you're in contact with now. So the fact that artists lose that when they gain a certain amount of notoriety, I think is 100% bullshit.
Me too. And I think if you're a humble person to begin with, you're going to be a humble person no matter how big you get. And I'm learning that
100%.
the humility goes a long way. I also see the competition and the cutthroatness between artists just ruining people. Like some people feel like they have to be like that, right?
Yeah, and that's a whole big lie. You don't, whoever has told them that, whatever, I mean, even if it's their own ego and narcissism, that is not true. You do not have to literally show up to be an asshole to make people like you or to make you be looked at as, oh well, I'm professional. There is nothing professional with being an asshole. 100%.
It's
There is.
true. It's true. It's true. I think that it's really hard sometimes for people who have like local fame, maybe that they feel like everybody wants something from you. They feel very guarded. They get into this box where they just
Mhm.
can't relate, can't come out because it's not safe, right?
Yeah, well, welcome to the sideshow. You get
Yeah,
you
exactly.
got what you asked for. If you're getting hounded by people that are always going to want something from you, well, guess what? That's gonna happen, and you just
Cuz
have to
you're
get
yeah,
better as a person to learn how to handle those people. You have an option of not communicating with certain people if it's to the degree to where you're getting literally harassed
yeah.
for something, but you also have the you know self-consciousness and awareness to say, hey, thank you for your support, hope you're doing well, and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Doesn't make you look like an asshole. It makes you look like you're still engaging with people, but you can kind of filter out who's true, who's not, who's looking out for your best interest and who's not. And it all becomes part of that growing process as an artist and growing in the industry and things like that. Because the further up you get, you're going to have more people that are
Yeah.
going to sit there and want to do that exact same thing. And because these people have money or because this is a higher known record label, you're going to be blindsided and just look at the glitz and glamour of it and be like, okay, now there's somebody I want to talk to. And then you realize that, oh, wait, I've been on tour for the past 2 years, haven't made anything, and I have nothing to show for it. And I'm under a 3-year contract. I mean, there's so many different ways to where you're looking at the wrong things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's some great advice, really. Thank you so much for that. Because
Mm.
yeah. So what do you have planned other than that new stuff coming out there with your other projects? What's coming out with Sister Kill Cycle?
Yes. So, Sister Kill Cycle, we're actually are getting ready to probably be doing our next music video here within the next couple of months. I know I've got a growth conference that I got to go out and do in Miami, but I will be meeting with Sean a couple of days beforehand. So we're going to go over the business side of things and see kind of where we're at, what the next steps from that point forward is going to be. But we do have a lot of stuff that we're planning on. We've been having I think video meetings almost like every week, kind of going over everything and stuff. So I'm definitely excited for what we're getting ready to do and just finding out time and place of where we want to and how we want to do it. And then the other band I play for, Cultus Black, we're getting ready to release, I think, 1 to 2 new music videos. Now, due to COVID and the restrictions from where I am and remote, I wasn't able to be in these upcoming music videos, but they are getting ready to drop. I don't know the current release dates on that yet, so I can't really talk a lot about that. However, I have been able to see what's getting ready to be released, and I am stoked. And those guys have, and especially James, who is the owner of the band Legion, he has done amazing on not only the business side, but knowing exactly what he wants to do with the band and how he's laying it all out. So, I mean, the whole band and the whole group of guys in that project definitely have a really good strategy together. And I look forward to when those releases come out and stuff. So, yeah, we got a lot going on and staying pretty busy. So, can't complain.
You use the same person to do the videos for 2 of the projects, all of the projects, or no?
No. Now the Cultus used a different videographer, a different person for that. Now Thomas Crane, the guy from Kill Devil Films that did Sister Kill Cycle's video, back when I was in Losing September, we did a music video for the song Rise of the Loser that we released. I believe that was last year. And so when we did that music video, that's when I was able to meet Thomas Crane. And then when the video was released, I saw his work that he did with the video. And it's funny when you shoot a music video and all the different things that you do throughout the time that you're there with doing the music video, then watching it all come together in just a few minutes. And it's like, man, that was like 3 days and stuff. So I was very, very impressed with his work. He's an amazing videographer. So if there's any bands out there that are,
they're like movies.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're watching this and looking for an affordable rate for a good music video, hit up Kill Devil Films 100%.
Well, not yet, because I've tried to get him to work with me on a documentary, but I don't think that's gonna happen. But hit him up.
Well, here's the thing. He's a busy guy, but he works with everybody that he's in negotiations with or in conversations with. So he does take some time to get a hold of because he is so busy, but definitely give him time and I'll definitely put a referral in or whatever and be like,
I mean, the amount of people like you around the world, the amount of people and who they are coming together to help me has got to be literally the best story in music history. Like I know it in my heart, right?
Always support you.
Yeah. And I mean, it's getting to the point now where how could nobody be paying attention yet?
Well, so many different things are out there in the world today between politics to TikTok to YouTube's to we've became an ADD society to where it's like, some of the videos that you even see online that have 25 million views or whatever, a good probably 35% of those videos aren't even watched all the way through. They're
I
clicked
know.
on,
I know.
and somebody watches it for a few seconds, they're like, oh, this is cool. But because they click that play button, those numbers, increase.
Yeah.
So everybody's so finger driven on where to put their finger next.
So do you think we should like shorten the length of things? Like, should
No,
we
not by
make
any
one
means.
minute, 1 minute songs and videos?
No, not by any means. I think that however long it takes you to portray an
Tell your
information, for
story.
example,
Tell your story.
regardless if it's I mean, what Meshuggah put out a album back in the day, that was a 19-minute long song.
Yeah, yeah.
Duran Duran's Come Undone, one of my all-time favorite songs released, was like 7.5 minutes. So I mean, there's value to the longevity of what you're trying to say. And even on a business side, if you are, training somebody or you're trying to give people insight on how to do something, every little piece of that information is worth listening to, regardless if it's 15 minutes to an hour and a half. All that value is there for you to take in and do it that correct way, because people can skim over anything or read directions, be like, okay, I see what's going on here. And then they go and do it, and it doesn't look the same because you skimmed over it. You didn't follow and listen to the entire process, the entire breakdown. So no, I don't think anything should be shortened. I mean, if you have something that you can portray in 60 seconds, by all means, go for it.
I
But to
can.
shorten, exactly. But to shorten it to appease a populace, there is no appeasing a populace. So you just have to just do you, and people will follow. It may take some time, it may take some effort, but they see value even with people that you do have. Like, same way with my followers. I don't have 50 million people follow me on all these different platforms. But the ones that do follow me, there is value in every single one of those people.
Of course, yeah, of course. I agree with that. Totally, totally, totally. Yep. So, do you have anything else that you want to talk about? Because I think we're going to be cut off here very shortly.
I think we pretty much touched base on everything. But I definitely want to thank you for this interview. I'm glad we were able to touch base again,
Me
and I
too.
can't wait till the video goes out. I'll just spread it to everybody.
Yep.
And like I said, I'll put in a word for Thomas. He needs to reach out and get that contact so you guys can get that documentary going.
For sure, for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. And you have yourself a good night and stay safe, okay?
You do the same, and thank you again.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much to Jonathan Price, of course, to Jay Stone at Rockn Talk of Always and Forever, and of course to RFL Records. My listeners, and I really hope you guys help us spread this as far as we can. So much work goes into these. They're a lot of fun, but we need your support. So thanks again to Rockn Talk and to everybody out there. You've been listening to the Potpixi on Rockn Talk. And thanks, everybody. Bye for now. Keep safe.